to another episode of the Cavalier Family Podcast. This week and this month, as you may have known from the previous episode, we will be discussing the top 5 subjects of 2003. Last week was the top cartoons as well as TV shows. This week will be the top music. And then next week, of course, will be the top 5 movies that spanned the most at the box office for 2003. And as you can see, we do have a special guest on the show. And before we introduce him, we'll just let you know that there are no updates as of right now, just doing our thing. If there is anything, we'll definitely let you know. Go ahead and follow us on all social platforms. That is Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, anywhere that you can actually find us, because all the love and support is very appreciated, as well as the merchandise store link is down below. So go ahead and click that. You can definitely show your support by purchasing a shirt or even sharing this video. And with that in mind, we'll go ahead and introduce our lovely friend, Mr. Kevin. Kevin, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Todd?
Doing wonderful.
Yes.
Now, I heard that you guys have a little storm out there.
Yeah, my dogs are freaking out. My wife's freaking out. The water level in the river that's behind our house is rising. We're trying to figure it out. I don't know. You might just see me start floating a little bit higher into the screen here shortly. I don't know what's going to happen. It's not even a hurricane yet, so I don't know. We'll see. I don't know.
Well, since the listeners and everybody who's watching this don't really know you, other than if they've actually watched Let's Talk About It, because you have, of course, co-hosted and stuff on that segment in that show. Just go ahead and, introduce where do you actually come from as far as your other line of business of podcasting goes, and, just
sure.
Introduce yourself.
Absolutely. My name's Kevin McLaughlin. I'm 33 years old. I don't want to give myself I got a few months still till I turn 34. Married to my beautiful wife. We originally from Michigan. We moved down to Georgia a couple of years ago, and it was a great move for us, except for this hot weather that I'm trying to get used to down here. I come from work-wise. I was a firefighter and chef for years, and now I work in mental health as a counselor. We do have a podcast, me and a few other buddies. It's called the Mag Dump Podcast, and just like right here, you can find it on all your major platforms. And we kind of just talk about every day going on. It's more of a spitball than it is more of a programmed robotic down the line, even though I wish it was a little more like that, so we had a little more structure to it, but it's fun. It is what it is. I'm excited to be here. Todd, he's awesome. I love this guy. So he gets me. I hope he gets. I get him. I hope he gets me. And we have a weird little relationship of how we met, and maybe somewhere down the line we'll talk about that. So yeah, that's me.
Well, awesome. Well, thanks, man. And thank you so much for being on here as well. And, I'm looking forward to kind of a new way of doing this. As you may not know, folks who are listening and watching, usually when we share the outline with everybody to kind of show everything that's going on, we do share the top 5 music as well. However, Kevin is actually the scapegoat and actually the test subject on this, because he has no idea what the top 5 music is, and he's going to try and guess himself. So he's kind of like you in this scenario. I'm the only one that has the list. So let's go ahead and jump into 2003.
Back in time.
So welcome to 2003, as we, of course, went back in time. And, of course, all this music and information actually comes from the Billboard.com. Once again, the year is 2003. A lot of memories are shared. Kevin, do you have any memories from 2003 as far as music goes?
Music goes, I mean, man, I was 15, so was a sophomore in high school. We're gonna go. I mean, I'm a punk rock guy, so I Blink 182, huge to me at that point in time. Sum 41, all those sad Green Day, all that good stuff,
Well, dude, like American Idiot was I would say like a big staple as far as the punk rock goes within our genre or our age and our I guess I don't like to classify as millennial, but I mean our generation basically.
Green Day literally sums it all up, I think, for everybody in our time.
Whether
One
if
hundred percent.
Yep, and whether if you're a Democrat or Republican or even in the middle, it didn't matter because you still listened to the album regardless. Like it was one of those albums that everybody loved. They didn't pay attention to like the political standpoint behind it. For some reason I feel like it was more of like the beats and like the catchy tone of it. And I think that was, there's Green Day, I think one of the albums, Nimrod, I think it is, and another
Nimrod.
one is Dookie, which Dookie was a big one as well. But I think this one just catapulted them to like a whole new level.
I agree with you 100%.
It was just that extraordinary. So, of course, that's our little memory on Green Day. Some of the honorable mentions from that year is When I'm Gone by Three Doors Down, Mesmerized by jarule featuring Ashanti, 21 Questions by 50 Cent, which 50 Cent, that was a big year as well because, of course, his Get Rich or Die Trying album came out. Basically, every single song on that album was a hit, was basically released on the radio. Cry Me a River by Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
Bring Me to Life by Evanescence. Superman by Eminem. Sing for the Moment by Eminem. And then the anthem from Good Charlotte, which is another good album, which was, help me out here. The anthem was on Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. No, that wasn't the album. That was the song.
This wasn't their self album, was it? Oh, that's driving me nuts now.
No, now I can't remember. Well,
that's driving me crazy.
Yeah, that's a little sad. But hey, maybe we'll figure it out later on during the road. So Kevin, you ready to start guessing?
I'm as ready as I'll ever be, I suppose.
All right, so here's your first song. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
It's your birthday. We gonna party like it's your birthday. We gonna sip the party like birthday. And you know we don't give a fuck. In the club, put the bug with mommy, I got the eggs. Have the sex, I ain't into making love, so come give me a hug. Get into getting rough. You can find me in the club, bottle full of bug. Look, mommy, I got the eggs. Get into
All right.
That is obviously In the Club by the one and only 50 Cent. Absolutely. Absolutely. I remember going to dances in high school and listening to that song. Oh, yeah. I can't mess that up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And again, that definitely came from his big album, the one that obviously everybody knows, that's basically had a hit, from every single year. So it's definitely one of those things that is still famous still to this day too. Like they what was it? Wasn't 21 Questions on his movie? I can't remember.
Yes, it was.
Yes, okay.
It was. Yeah. And just to reiterate for the Good Charlotte, the anthem, it was on the album The Young and the Hopeless. And I don't know how we forgot that. I couldn't let it slide. I had to figure it out.
I love that album. I still listen to it to this day. Like there's just some of the songs, and I guess like every kid or every teenager during their lives and everything, they have a moment, they have an album that they always listen to, or a series of songs that kind of just touches them in a way where it's not like in the way that the next artist is like in real life, but basically, and that's your little hint there, but basically to the point where emotionally they could connect with.
Unbelievable, honestly, and I could be, I'm probably a little on my own on this, or I don't listen to a lot of today's music, and I have a real hard time. I don't really listen to anything past 2012. I don't think at this point in time, really. I'll listen to it every once in a while, but that music of my teenage years still resonates so strongly with me today. And I think it really spoke to us, and growing up in the late 90s, early 2000s, I don't know. I that's how I feel about it.
No, I agree wholeheartedly. All right, my friend, you ready for the next one?
One for one. Let's do it.
All right. Let's go ahead and set this up.
Now, usually I don't do this, but go ahead on, break them off with a little previews of the remix. Now, I'm not trying to be rude, but hey, pretty girl, I'm feeling you. The way you do the things you do reminds me of my Lexus cool. That's why I'm all up in your grill, trying to get you to a hotel. You must be a football coach, the way you got me playing the field. So baby, give me that, let me get that. Running her hair through my fro, bouncing on when it goes. Why they say I'm ready? It's the remix to ignition, hot and fresh out the kitchen. Mama rolling that body, got every man in here wishing. Sipping on coke and rum.
It's the freaking weekend, baby. I'm about to have me some fun. That is, am I even allowed to say his name like legally? Are we gonna get in trouble if I say his name? Are we okay with that? That's R. Kelly. And that is the remix to Ignition. So that was right there, pretty easy. I got that one.
Now you understand that whole hint
yeah.
there earlier. Yeah.
The second the beat hit, I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah. See, that's. I guess my question to you, and I guess this can be a question of the day for everybody who's listening and watching, is the fact that do you separate the artist from the art, or is it too hard? And especially in this situation, knowing his past and what he did, is it one of those things that can still be, to me, it's not excusable for what he did. He did a horrible thing. He deserves to be even more years in jail than what he was provided. In some cases, you know, they can't really say it, but the gesture gives it away. But at the same time, though, is like the music is still catchy. So is it one of those things where you could still separate the artist from the art, or is it too far gone to the point where once you hear it, you know, it's just gone, basically? Like, for an example, not Kevin Spacey, but the other guy who he was on Baby Driver. He was on I know his name, but it's blanking right now. Because
help me out.
It's Kevin Spacey, actually. So
yeah,
I did have it right.
I was gonna say,
okay.
I was like, I know Kevin Spacey's done some pretty heinous shit. So
yeah, so like Kevin Spacey, for an example, like now when you watch the movies, it's like it's very cringeworthy to the point where you don't really want to watch it. Like Baby Driver, I love Baby Driver. It was very well done.
Great movie.
But whenever he says the term or the name baby from Kevin Spacey, it just brings a whole different meaning to that word. So for an Ignition, does it have the same effect?
I think it does. I think it does have that effect. But I find myself lucky to be able to separate the person from the art myself. Michael Jackson, for instance. I am a huge Michael Jackson fan. I think his music is legendary, and I don't think anybody will, disagree with that necessarily. I've also watched the Michael Jackson documentary, which is just unbelievably eye-opening, but we grew up with Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was R. Kelly. If we really want to think about it, our generation's R. Kelly. Okay. So I love his music. It's so touchy. It's so touchy, Todd. I love his music. What he did and how he got away with certain things is just it's not okay. It's just the way it is. But his music is amazing. His form of artistry is amazing. Kevin Spacey is an amazing actor. His form of artistry is amazing. What he is as a person is awful. That's the best way you can do it. Okay, that's the best way I can say it. But I feel as if I can separate the two and I can enjoy the art without enjoying the person.
I would agree. I would agree with that. Because I can do similar to like when I first heard the song. I shouldn't say first heard the song, but when I re-listened to Ignition, like I was into it. Like it was very catchy. Now with that whole Michael Jackson thing though, do you think it was propaganda at the same time? So for an example, if you listen to Aaron Carter on Steve-O's podcast, Wild
Mhm.
Ride with Steve-O, Aaron Carter says that he never did anything to him. And when he came home, the FBI was waiting for him, and his mom was ready to sue Michael on false
Right.
allegations.
Same with Macaulay Culkin.
Yep.
Very similar situation with the two. You know, I will never know.
And see, that's
That's the
that
thing.
there. Mhm.
We will never know on that particular situation. And also, he was never formally found guilty, as far as I know. It was
Yeah.
it was civilly, but not in the criminal justice system.
Mhm.
So we'll never know. Do I think that there has to be some yes to that? Yeah, I do. I there has to be. I don't know. There has to be. But again, I feel for anybody that something bad like that's happened to, 100%. But again, I'm able to separate the two, and I
Mhm.
don't feel bad about separating the two. That doesn't make me feel like a bad person if I still have my social justices in order when it comes to the person at hand.
Fair point. Fair
You
point.
know, that's just me.
And you know
I
that
get a lot of hate mail for my first episode. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
No hate mail. No, everyone is good to their own opinion. So with that, of course, going back to R. Kelly, of course, one of the artists that he helped perpetuate to the billboards is on here as well. So that's the other thing
Boy.
that's another I guess clue to everything. But let's go ahead and jump to number 3. And I don't know if you remember the song, but unfortunately, we can only play 30 seconds of it and 30 seconds of all the songs just for legal matters. I've kind of went over a little bit on some of them, and the last music episode, it's still flagged on YouTube, and I tried to dispute the copyright. I lost. So there's no funding from that episode, but it's still educational purposes. So you ready for song number 3?
Shake that thing, miss. Can I shake that thing, miss? Annabella, shake that thing, yeah. Donna, Jody and Rebecca, woman, get busy. Get drunk up, percolate anything you want, because it's oscillate if I don't take pity. Want to see you get life on the rhythm of my God, and my lyrics up about electricity. Girl, nobody can do you nothing, cause you don't know.
I don't know the song, and I've never known the lyrics because it's just I know some of the lyrics, but I believe, is that Sean Paul?
You are correct. Yeah, it's
Sean Paul. Sean Paul. Yeah. Okay.
Sean Paul, Get Busy is number 3.
Okay. I've
Yep.
heard the song a million times. I've always pretended like I know the lyrics. I don't know any of them.
So now here's the thing, though. There are 2 artists that came up around the same time period: Sean Paul or Pitbull.
Oh, are you saying that I'm wrong?
No. You are correct in the song. But
Okay.
as far as, because remember, the 2 artists kind of rose
They
at the
sound
same time,
and they sound somewhat
similar.
similar. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So in a versus battle, Sean Paul or Pitbull?
I'm going Pitbull.
Yeah, I would go Pitbull too.
I'm going Pitbull.
Yeah.
You know, Sean Paul. I think he's very catchy music. It's just not my type of music. I think it gets you moving. You know, whatever we do now.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You know?
And not only that, but I don't know. Sean Paul kind of just fell. Like, he just went down.
Oh man, he became a meme. Oh, so badly. About like sending him out to Alaska. Do you remember all that stuff?
No.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was a whole thing. Like, if you won this thing and whatever, and then he would move to Alaska, and it was yeah. I don't know why he fell though. I don't know if he was like a one-trick pony and like people just kind of got sick of it, because all the songs kind of sound the same in a sense.
I mean, that's a good point.
You know, I don't know. The Nickelback of that genre, maybe. Is that I don't know.
But you have to admit, though, some of the Nickelback earlier stuff we did listen to.
So here's the thing. Nickelback, I'm actually still a fan of. Like, I don't get all the hate, to be honest. I don't. What was it? Photograph was my senior song. Right. So like, you know, I don't understand the hate. My wife and I actually went and seen him in Grand Rapids just before we moved down here, like 3 or 4 years ago. We ended up just finding tickets for cheap. They threw on a great show. I don't know.
I mean,
Know all the
personally,
hate.
I don't understand the hate either because I still own to that same albums. Now, I know a lot of people will disagree, but I also feel like some of those people just jumped on the bandwagon just to say that they're horrible, just to say
Yeah.
that they're horrible.
No, I don't think they're horrible at all. And I honestly think that you guys are wrong. And I mean that with love. I do. I don't get it. They're good. They're a good alt rock band. I don't
Mhm.
whatever.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. So you ready to go into this?
I'm 3 for 3, dude. I am on cloud 9 right now. I am feeling good.
So you ready to go for the full American country?
I can do country. We doing
Okay.
this is country music?
Yes
Okay.
and no.
All right, let's figure it out.
All right. So
All right.
with that, let's get it set up.
My life in a slow hell. Different girl every night at the hotel. I hate seeing the sun shining 3 damn days. Been fueling up on whiskey.
It's so
girl to
funny
miss
because
me.
of course it's coming from YouTube. So which shout out to YouTube for having the music. I mean,
I'm surprised, honestly.
it's funny because they covered up that one lyric of that song. So
Good Lord, with the music that's out nowadays, and that's what they're covering up. I don't know. Whatever. That's
yeah,
none of my business.
exactly.
That is Kid Rock and and Faith Hill. No, it's not Faith Hill. Hold on. Oh, no. It wasn't Faith Hill. Oh shit. Sorry for cussing. Kid Rock and oh no. It wasn't Faith Hill. I give me a
No.
hint. Help me out here. Give me a hint.
Brandon Lee played in this movie where he was shot at and he ended up dying. So what was that movie?
I'm losing my mind here. See what happens when I get put on the spot. I'm terrible at this.
Okay, so Brandon Lee, son of
Yes.
Bruce Lee, starred
Yes.
in this movie and he ended up getting shot and he actually died on set.
Okay.
What was that movie? It was
I know.
adaptation by a comic book with a bird.
This is the bird.
It's black. The Crow.
Okay. Oh God, I haven't seen The Crow since I was 2003. Let's be honest here. Okay.
So that's a last name.
Oh, Sheryl Crow. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. Faith Hill. I'm thinking Tim McGraw. Was it Tim McGraw and Faith Hill that were together? I knew that there was a second singer without hearing it. I'll take my props.
Okay. Yeah.
Kid Rock. It's a country song. Let's be honest. It is.
Is it?
I think so. Country and country rock and rock are all kind of a mesh, and I think that's when it really started. Was right about in that time period, 2003 to 2008, and then it's really it's set off into a whole different genre at this point in time. I think.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
All right. So you ready for the last one?
I'll do it. Let's do it.
All right. Here comes the last one. Number 4.
It's been too long and I'm lost without you. What am I gonna do? Said I've been needing you.
All right. So that, like I said from earlier conversation, that is actually coming from somebody that R. Kelly propped up in music history. She was also supposed to be in the Matrix, Reloaded, and Revelations, but because of her plane crash, she died. Obviously.
Man, and I am having such a hard time with this. I know the song. I don't know the name of the song, but I've heard the song. The voice is super familiar, but I'm trying to think of the plane crash. And my first initial thought for some reason was Alicia Keys. And I was like, that's immediately wrong. I know that.
I mean, that's close though.
It was
I mean,
close, right?
They have some similarities.
Right. And I cannot remember this one. Help me out.
Miss You by Aaliyah.
Aaliyah. Oh, wow. That's a name I haven't heard. Well, unfortunately, since she died, I apologize. Okay. Yes. Is that Lost? Yeah. Miss. Yeah. It's a good song.
It is.
It's a great song.
It is.
Oh, that's sad. This is somebody I totally completely forgot about. That's how easily we forget about people sometimes, I guess, huh?
But that's the beauty of music, though, and that's what I really love is the fact
It
that
lives on.
It does live on, and you
Yeah.
know, that's kind of why I wanted to start Cavalier, and that's why I wanted to start podcasts and all these videos and stuff like that, because at some point we're going to die. I mean, it's natural, right? And whether or not if I make it big, don't really care. My wife has been extremely supportive with this, as well as, you know, followed me on the journey, been with me from the very beginning and helped out whenever I asked for help. And at the end of the day, when my kids get older, you know, they may not have, they'll always have this, right? Because it's on YouTube. Because once something is uploaded from the internet or to the internet, it's always going to be there.
It lives forever.
It lives forever. So even if they want any sort of like knowledge coming from me, or want to know something, then they can always listen to this or listen to The Voice. Or I've always wanted to do a thing too, just in case, where, you know, I recorded myself and basically, like for an example, record myself and how I would be for their first birthday or their second birthday, or my baby girl's like first heartbreak. So then that way it'd be like a talking point where they can watch it. And though I'm not there, it's still like a little, you know, blast from the past thing. Like, though daddy's not there, he is still there through video form. And that's what I love about music. That's what I love about movies, is because you could still have that presence. Really, you may not be there to hold them, or you may not be there to love them like how you usually do, but at least you could still hear the voice. You could still see them on the screen. They could still leave a legacy in a way.
You trying to make me cry, man? One emotional man. You can't do that to me. Oh my God, that was beautiful.
Well, you know, that's I guess, I don't know. I guess that's just one of the things, is when I get on a roll, I get on a roll.
Making me like extremely introspective over here right now. Am I doing enough with my life? I need to leave my legacy. Oh my God.
What am I doing?
I'll drink to that.
And with that in mind, you guys, that is the end of this week's episode for the top 5 Billboard music of 2003. If there is a song out there that, you know, that you guys really liked and enjoyed, just leave a comment below. If you're watching YouTube, if you're listening to podcast, then, you know, go over to our social media. Personally message us as well, because we love to interact with you. If there is a song that you want us to listen to, or you want us to play on the show and see if Kevin can guess or Ro can guess, that is actually a great idea I just thought of just right now on the spot. So that is something that we could do for you guys too, because that would be fun and engaging with you guys. So again, with that in mind, that brings this week's episode for the music to a close. Catch us next week as we discuss the top 5 movies. Thank you to Kevin. And actually, before we go, Kevin, go ahead and let the audience know where they can find you on your other podcast.
Yes, you can find us at the Magdump Podcast / Buzzsprout. Oh God, I can't. Rich is gonna kill me right now because I can't remember everything. If you just look up the Magdump Podcast, you can find us anywhere. Just look us up on Google. You'll find us on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, all of them. I apologize. Sorry, Rich. Sorry, guys. Bad on the spot, but I did go 4 for 5, and I want to say I'm pretty proud of that. So
yes,
thank you.
We'll give you a round of applause.
I thought it was pretty awesome. I enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun.
And if you enjoyed Kevin on this week's episode, he'll be with us for next week. So have a good night.